Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing a video about the top 5 series that I want to read / complete / get caught up on in 2023. Since I'm not doing this video in January, since I wasn't making videos in January, I am only going to talk about 5 series, and also there are quite a few books in some of these. Almost everything on my list is a completed series, and if it's not a completed series, there are at least 5 books that are currently published within the series. So I think that this is a really good list for me to get started on. As I've mentioned before, I really do like reading completed series. If it's something that I end up loving, I don't really mind waiting, and I will sometimes look forward to even rereading previous installments to get ready for that next book. So without further ado, here is my list. So first up is the First Law Trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. I talked about this one in my spring TBR video, so at the time of filming this, I have not yet started the series, but at the time of posting this video, I'm really hoping to have already completed the first book. This is a completed series with 3 books in total, but if I end up loving the world, then I will be able to continue on and read the rest of the books that are set in the same universe. I believe there are 3 standalones, and then there is a second trilogy. This is a grimdark fantasy series, and once again, as I said in my last video, no matter how many times I read the Goodreads synopsis, I just could not tell you what the series is about. It really just describes like the 4 main characters, and as a character-driven reader, that's something that really appeals to me. So I think that there is a good chance that I'm going to end up loving this, and it really won't matter what it's about. I'm so curious though if there's anyone that's able to like concisely describe the plot, because I have yet to see anyone do so. All I hear is how amazing Glokta is, and like that's what I remember from every single booktube wrap-up I've ever seen about the series. The next series on my list is The Faithful and the Fallen by John Gwynne, the first book being Malice. I actually already read the first like 300 pages of this one a while ago, back in like 2021, but I had a lot of stress that year, so I decided to put it aside and wait until I could fully like enjoy it and immerse myself in it. So I'm going to start this one over from the beginning and then continue on and read the next 3 books in the series. This one follows a young Corbin who yearns to wield his sword and protect his king's realm. In the history of the Banished Lands, men fought giants, and the remnants of the giant clan's broken fortresses still scar the land. Giants are starting to stir anew, stones are starting to weep blood, and those that are able to see the signs of what's coming predict that there is going to be a war to end all wars. There are also sightings of giant worms, and that's worms WYRMS, so the fun one. Darkness and light will demand 2 champions. There's going to be a black sun and a bright star, but if the black sun rises to ascendancy, all of the hopes for mankind will fall to dust. This is a completed quartet, so I'm really excited to read all of these, hopefully within 1 month. Next on my list is A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. I know. I read the first book, A Game of Thrones, back in 2008, but I never continued on with the series. I wasn't much of an adult fantasy reader back then. I was definitely reading more YA, and this was more of a challenging read for me. So now that I much prefer adult fantasy to YA, I'm curious if I'm gonna love it even more upon reread. I've also actually only seen the first season of the show because I always said that I wanted to read book 2 before I watched season 2, and I just never got around to it. I definitely have been spoiled on a whole bunch of storylines within this world because it would have been like impossible not to. I feel like Game of Thrones is what everyone was talking about, but I still want to experience the books and everything that happens in them firsthand. I don't really feel like the series needs a synopsis at this point, but if you want some fun like buzzword phrases, the things that I remember most prevalently from when the show was coming out is winter is coming, you know nothing Jon Snow, and all men must die, but we are not men. Also, Tyrion is amazing. I remember loving him. There are currently 5 books out in the series, and supposedly George R. R. Martin is making progress on Winds of Winter. No idea when it'll actually be released, but there's like hope, unlike with the Kingkiller Chronicles. I also really hope that Random House will publish more of these editions because there's only 3 of them out right now, and I think that they were like 20th anniversary editions, so I have like looked extensively online. Supposedly the publisher said that they were going to publish more of them, but if they're sticking to the 20th anniversary schedule, the next one won't be published until like 2025, which seems like crazy. So I'm hoping that they'll do the rest of these like sooner. Very excited to immerse myself in this world and then potentially watch the show, even though I know it doesn't go out on the best note. Number 4 on my list is the Sun Eater series by Christopher Ruccio. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Sun Eater is a sci-fi fantasy blend series, with the first book being Empire of Silence. We're following Hadrian Marlowe, a man revered as a hero and also despised as a murderer. Hadrian was on the wrong planet at the right time when he burned every last alien of a specific race from the sky. I can't say what it is. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try. He simultaneously destroyed a sun and annihilated 4 million human lives, including the emperor himself, and that was done against imperial orders. Now Hadrian is stranded on a strange backwater world, and he's being forced to fight in a war for an empire that he does not love against an enemy that he does not understand. There are already 5 books out in this series. I believe there are going to be at least 2 more, but I'm not 100% sure, and on Goodreads it only lists the 5, but I've looked into it and I feel like the author said that it's going to be longer. And last on my list is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I have the first book on audio. I don't actually own a physical copy of this one yet. This is one series that was super popular on BookTube like a bunch of years ago, but I just never got around to reading it. It's a science fiction series following Darrow, who is a red, which is the lowest caste within this color-coded society of the future. Him and the rest of the Reds work all day, every day, trying to make the surface of Mars inhabitable for future generations. But then Darrow finds out that his race has actually been betrayed and humanity has reached the surface of Mars generations ago. So he goes and he infiltrates this building called the Institute, which is where the gold caste overlords struggle for power. And he goes there in an attempt to get justice for his people. While he's there, he has to compete for his life, and he will stop at nothing to bring his enemies down, even if it means becoming one of them himself. There are also 5 books that are currently published in the Red Rising series, and book 6 is coming out this July, and then book 7, which is the final book, should be coming out in 2024. And then actually gonna add a 6th series to this list kind of impulsively, and also it's going to be a poll for you guys. So as I mentioned, I've been trying to read more graphic novels and manga, and once I finish Full Metal Alchemist, I'm trying to decide what my next manga series will be, and the 2 series that I feel like I'm most interested in are either Vinland Saga or One Piece. So if you guys have a vote of which one I should start, whether it be Vinland Saga or One Piece, definitely let me know down below and I will tally like what gets the most votes, and that will be the series that I read next. I actually don't own either of them, so either way I'll be buying them, so that doesn't influence me in any way to try to like get something off of my TBR, because I don't technically have them yet, but I've been wanting to read both of those for a while. So those are the 5 series that I really want to focus on reading in 2023. I did also mention Robin Hobb in my last video, but I didn't want to make things too repetitive. But just know that I'm also going to be reading as much Robin Hobb as I can, because I am just obsessed with the realm of the Elderlings. But that's all that I have for this video. So again, let me know what series I should prioritize. Let me know if I should read Vinland Saga or One Piece. And that is all that I have for this video, so I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!